Happy Air Max Day, everybody. It's Air Max Day 2021. I'm super excited for this day. I've already got a bunch of content for you all. We got the podcast, we've got this video. We're gonna have some, fun stuff on social media, Twitter, Instagram. I'm gonna make a couple of posts or posts on the website. So I'm really excited about this day and to share a bunch of Air Max content with you all. As you can tell, I got the shirt that starts it all, right? Air Max originated from the Air Max 1, and Air Max Day pays homage to the Air Max 1 and the future and innovation that it created from 1987 up until today, when Tinker Hatfield had the idea to remove a piece of the sole and have this visible Air Max unit. People called him crazy. They thought his career was already over before it started, but lo and behold, 30 plus years later, and the Air Max is still holding true to being unique, to being creative, to being innovative, to causing disruptive, positive change. And so, what I wanted to do today was just showcase some of my Air Max models that hold a pretty important place in my heart, in my collection, and that I feel have more than just the creative side to it, have some stories to tell. Other pairs in here will just be more about the shoe and the tech and what it looks like. But other models are going to have some important stories that I enjoy, that I remember, and that mean something to me. So I hope you enjoy this video. So these shoes are in no particular order. Just some that I really enjoy, some that have good stories to tell from them, some that I really like because of the detailing and the way that the shoe looks. So let's just go ahead and dive right into these first few models. Now, I couldn't really decide between, top 5 or top 10, so I kind of just picked models here and there that I thought would be interesting pairs to show for Air Max Day, because there are plenty of Air Maxes, and starting from the Air Max 1 up until the most recent Air Max 2020, I hit shoes here and there that have to do with that line, and I picked up other shoes that deal with the Air Max unit bubble. So the first few pairs that I wanted to pick up, or I wanted to showcase with you all, are these right here. Starting off with the Air Max 93 Menthols. These are one of my favorite pairs. I picked these up at a Finish Line a few years ago. And this is a classic model in the Air Max line. Really like this one. The menthol colorway is pretty impactful. People can differentiate that immediately once they see it. I like the heel tab as well. And what I like about these is like this neon sock liner, where it's extremely easy to put your foot in to it. I don't even have to unlace them. Just slide my foot right in, and we can go from there. You can tell on the midsole though that the paint has kind of been chipping away a little bit, or discoloring, but it still adds some integrity to the shoe, and especially inside this little mesh cage, you can see some yellowing there. But either way, still the top model of mine. To go along with that menthol colorway, we have the Air Max 97. And what really stands out on this shoe is that reflective material that you can see on the upper, and along with the blocks that go along with it. As you can see, the stitching of it and how it has these wavy patterns. I believe it talked about the water flow of the shoe. Some people have called these, not this specific colorway, but the model itself, like a bullet train. I do like the sole of the shoe. You do see some wear and tear on the backside bubbles. And a shoe like this one, and specifically the 93, you do make sure you want to wear, because this midsole does start cracking and crumbling after a few years. But that's a good pair to wear. Still very comfortable. Still up in today's sneaker chains. You can find them. It's a very popular model. It goes with anything you really want to wear. Both shoes are really good to wear. Other two I wanted to show was this first one, this Air Max 95 Freshwater. I had gotten these at Foot Locker, I believe back in like '09. I talked about them a little bit on the podcast. My good friend Matthew really liked them, and I just remember walking in Foot Locker and just seeing these, thinking, man, these are really nice colorway, nice little pop of the freshwater color that's there. And of course you have the the different shades of gray that go from dark to light at the top, the Air Max bubbles, and then that front toe cap is pretty neat. It can't go wrong with the Air Max 95. And then you have the original colorway. It might look a little funky on this video, but these are the neons. If there's any colorways you're ever looking for, and you're thinking, you know, what colors do I usually get? Go with some of the OGs, right? Neons, infrareds, OG reds, OG blues. You can't go wrong with those. The tongue on these are pretty awesome with that split color design. And again, Air Max 5s, these two are part of my collection that I really enjoy. Before I go into the next few that I wanted to showcase with you all, I do want to give some honorable mention to some Air Maxes that I personally don't own in my collection just because I haven't had any time to go and get them. I haven't found them at the right price point. But I do want to talk about the Nike Air VaporMax. I did like the Air VaporMax 1, Nike Air VaporMax 1. I have liked the renditions, some of the renditions of them over the last few years, especially the one with the little pull tab that's supposed to interlock and lace them. So shout out to the VaporMaxes. Just haven't had any time to find a good pair for that I like at a good price point. The Air Max 2070. I have seen a bunch of my former students rocking those on campus, and I do like the thickness of that air bubble on the 2070. And then also the 720, where the 720 has the full Air Max bubble on the bottom, a little bit thicker, more lighter. I was able to try on a pair at a Finish Line one time. I thought these aren't too bad. So Nike has made some other innovations, just unfortunately I haven't been able to pick up any pairs. The next pair I wanted to go over is these. I believe these were, I don't have the box on these anymore, but I believe they're called the Nike Air Max Triax. And what's unique about them is, they have like this Sprite neon and blue colorway. And what I love about these and why I really wanted to showcase these was because I remember we had, my in-laws had driven to Austin to come visit us. This is, I wasn't married at the time, but I was seeing I was seeing my wife, right? And so my in-laws came to visit, and we were at a Finish Line. We were doing some sneaker shopping, and my in-laws had gifted these for me, and I was super excited and I was super grateful that they decided that they love me enough to buy this pair for me, because they knew I'm big into sneakers. They knew I love, I worked at Finish Line. They knew I had a collection and stuff like that. So these hold a pretty near and dear to my heart, and I do like them. It's a good colorway. It's a good model. And it's retro, it's modern. It fits into both types of systems. The next one I wanted to look at is this Air Max 180. Now, while I personally like the OG retro colorway, I was able to cop these. I believe it was at a Nike outlet, or maybe it was I think it was a Nordstrom's rack. So once I saw these, it was an immediate cop. I think they're like $40 or $50. Air Max 180 is a pretty retro shoe. The mesh is kind of different. This suede nubuck is kind of different. But what I do like as well is this type of visible bubble too. You can see that it's kind of like separated there between this sole. But you can't go wrong, with this kind of colorway, with the OG colorway. Air Max 180 is a pretty popular model. I do like this neon print booty that it has, if you can see that. So it helps with, slippage. It helps with securing your foot. And you got like this infrared colorway around it, the navy. It just works really, really well, and I do like this model. The next one I have is a hybrid, and I for sure got these at an outlet in Nike. And what's unique about them is that they were a sample model, right? Nike didn't come out with too many Huarache Air Max 1s, and so when I saw these and the coloring of them, the price point of them, I was like, man, these are unique, these are different. Have to pick these up, have to add them to my collection. You see it has that Huarache free sole bottom where it gives you the flexion, and it also gives you the cushion of the Air Max bubble, along with the stability bridges that's infamous with any Huarache model as well. So this is Flywire. You see some of the intricate details there. This comes apart like a Huarache model. And so I thought, man, those are pretty cool. Interesting story with these. I wore them for a Halloween, I believe in 2009. Rocked them with my Spider-Man outfit, turned some heads. Very light, very versatile. This suede red just really pops out when you're walking around with them. So I thought I wanted to showcase these Air Max watches with you all. All right, so next up, not all of these have personal stories, but I feel like they were something that I wanted to showcase with you all. And starting from backwards year, maybe kind of working a little bit forward, is the Air Max 2015. I had rocked these for Air Max Day last year, and I really just liked this colorway, this royal blue colorway. And I'm a big Mavericks fan, big Cowboys fan. They wear different jerseys that rock the royal blue, and so when I saw these, I thought, okay, wear them with some Mavericks gear, wear them with some Cowboys gear. And this was at a time where Nike was coming out with Air Max models every single year. And I do like this visible Air Max unit, if you can see it in there with this little chambers, how it has the word Air Max there, and the chambers go across the shoe as well. Another thing I like is a fly wire. As you can see it there, the visible fly wire that's looping through like a bridge, of course, to give it support, to kind of pull the fabric up over your feet. And then what also I really enjoy is this what's called, you have your mesh, and then Nike took it a step above and created this engineer mesh on several models. Very famous with with Kobe's, very famous with Nike Lunar Glide models, and then put it on this Air Max 1. So it's just a re-engineered, refabricated type of mesh that gives it more visibility while also still having the integrity of the shoe and making it more tougher as well. And so you see that it has some hyperfuse material to fuse it, trying to reduce waste and reduce glues, all that stuff. And then what's interesting too is the backward swoosh. Right, it says reflective, so you put it in some light, it's going to shine on you there. So I do like that model. This other one doesn't really have any great story to tell, but I just really like the colorway, and so that's originally why I chose to buy it. But this is Air Max 2010. I wasn't big on this shoe, didn't really like it, wasn't into it, but something about this colorway, this black and Vogue colorway really grabbed my attention. Has the hyperfuse around the foot, and then the little eyelets are Volt as well. Fit soles. Next one up, this one has probably a lot of importance to me because it just signaled the change of where I was going in 2009. Another interesting story in 2010, but this is the Air Max 2009. So I had started working at Finish Line, and this model had come out, right? Nike hadn't done an Air Max model for a few years now. We had the 2006 360, and then 3 years later they decided to jump back on the full-length Air Max train. Flywire had just come out, Hyperfuse was just coming out, and so I said, let's put them all together in one block and create the Air Max 2009. Now, working at Finish Line, I was introduced to this shoe, got to learn more about products, got to learn more about technology, starting my career in sneakers. And so this shoe really caught my eye. I thought it was a good price point. I believe it was about $150. I remember my first sale, selling them to a customer that was he didn't know what he was really looking for. And so I dropped him into an Air Max 2009. I believe it was this specific colorway, and told him, man, it's like walking on clouds. It's very comfortable, very supportive, and lo and behold, he was sold. So that was one of my first. That was my first sale of the Air Max 2009, and I thought he wouldn't go for the price point, but he liked them. He liked how comfortable they were, and so eventually, after making that sale, I was torn between getting this colorway, which is, you can see it has some hints of royal blue on there as well, and in the fly wire. It was this colorway, or it was a gray, black, and gold colorway that I really liked as well. And so I had asked my coworkers that were there, like, hey, what colorway do y'all like? Which one looks better? And they went with the 09s. And so I've had these since 2009. And then another interesting story, in 2010, I made the decision of playing basketball outside in these with one of my good friends. Hopefully he's watching this and he knows the story. But me and him were playing a little 1v1 against each other. And while I was wearing these shoes, which was a bad idea, I was dribbling left, and I decided to break right. And as soon as I broke right off, when I came off of the forefoot of my shoe, I ended up tearing my ACL. Right. So it's we laugh about it now, but he says he was playing cold-blooded defense. I'm pretty sure it was the fact that I shouldn't have been wearing a running shoe to play basketball. And so these have a lot of importance to me. They have, you know, great stories to tell. You can see there's a bunch of wear and tear on them. This is a really important model to me, not just the design behind it, but the stories that I've had in the stories that I've had in this shoe, the memories I've had in this shoe. And so the Air Max 2009 will always hold, you know, a spot in my sneaker heart. You know, I tried to get rid of these early, last year, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. It's like, okay, even if I don't wear it, it's still an important shoe. It still has some value. It has sentimental value to me. That's what I've been looking for. So the Air Max 2009, and then they've also continued other Air Maxes past the 2009. So we'll start with the Flyknit Air Max 2014. This was, you know, the original Air Max 2014 with its engineered mesh and its different color palettes wasn't really getting a lot of responses from consumers, and so Flyknit was, you know, growing in popularity for its lightweight, its breathability, the fact that it's just, you know, a couple of pieces of knit working together to form the upper on your shoe. As you can see that, right? You can see the oranges, you can see the volts and the greens. And so since the 2014 wasn't doing so well, they came out with this Flyknit 2014. I've rocked this for Air Max Day. Again, super comfortable. That bubble, as you can see, right? It's very responsive. It's not gonna push in. It reacts right back out. So this was a good colorway that I really enjoyed. Going back to Air Max Day last year, I was able to pick these bad boys up at a good sales price, the Air Max 2090. And surprisingly, with these, they are extremely comfortable and extremely have a good amount of cushion. It does pay homage to the last 30 years of the Air Max line. You can see there's hues from the Air Max 90. There's points to the Air Max 95s, 93s, 97s, right? So this shoe pays homage to the last few years, making it more modern, putting a good twist on it. There was a video out there that I saw where it says, you know, where it drew inspiration from. And so maybe the other colorways aren't too popular, but I felt like this one that came out for Air Max Day has to hold some kind of value. And I do like this intricate sole of the shoe as well. And then along the lines, you have the stitching that's hyperfused to there. So I thought this was a very underrated model. You know, it was sitting out on some shelves, so I picked it up online, put it on for I bought a pair for my birthday last year, and I've really enjoyed this purchase. So there's good cushioning in the midsole, good cushioning in the heel, and it's just different, right? I really like that. The next one up just came out last year as well. Now, while it's only come out in a handful of colorways, this is the Air Max Auto Adapt, or the Auto Max, sorry. One of Nike's few shoes for auto lacing. Pretty futuristic, right? This shoe only came out in a few colorways. The original colorway that it came out with first was the motherboard, which I missed out on. You know, just kind of slept on it, forgot all about it. And so when they came out with the infrared model, I thought, man, you have to have that, right? It's Air Max. It's futuristic. It's kind of pays homage to the Nike Air Mag, if you know your Back to the Future history, you know, and I feel like it does that with these bands across and the sole as well. What I do like too is this kind of 3D pattern. It really reminds me of like a peanut, but you know, it's cool material. I don't really wear these out too much, but when I do, definitely turn heads. And as you can see there, right, the sole is pretty huge, but your foot drops in kind of right with it. So while they look big and bulky, the shoe fits extremely well. And I've gotten a comment from a few people that says, "Man, are they heavy? They look big?" And they're like your normal Air Max shoe, right? They're bulky, but they're not heavy. They're still light. The The mechanical unit is right here under the sole, and so it doesn't really add that much weight to it. I wouldn't say it's any heavier than an Air Force One. And Air Force Ones I know are pretty heavy, although people like to wear them all the time. But I also like this splatter pattern across the midsole, and then you just can't go wrong with an infrared colorway. Now they've come out with other colorways as well, and like a jaded blue, this triple black, and like a black and burgundy. But you know, once this came out, and I had missed out on the motherboards, I went with these because they're very slick and they just work well. This pair is an Air Max 90. Got the snakeskin pattern, the nylon upper. And what I loved about these, right, like I'm not too big on the colorway, but what I really loved about them is that they're a pair for my favorite basketball player of all time, Steve Nash. So Steve Nash was big, you know, mid 2000s. He won back-to-back MVPs, and so Nike was just making all kinds of crazy stuff for him. He was the face of their Nike Zoom BB line. He was becoming the face of vitamin water, winning back-to-back MVPs, and so they had started making a bunch of stuff for him. As you see on the inside, it was his days with Phoenix. And then I also liked this plaid lining to go along with it. Now it goes with the colorways, goes with Phoenix, Steve Nash. You know, he was big into Nikes, rocking the Air Max Jet Flights, rocking the Zoom Drives, rocking the Cradle Rocks, riding all kinds. Any shoe that he wore, I really wanted to put on. But when I saw that these paid homage to him, I thought, man, I can't pass on these. I got these on eBay for like $60. When I received them, the guy had told me like, okay, they stink, they smell like smoke. I didn't care. I was able to clean them several times, and over the years, that smoke smell has gone away. And you can see some cracking there along the midsole, but the shoe is still good. It's holding its integrity, and I rock these every once in a while to support my man, Steve Nash. Next pair up is a pair that, you know, just can't be ignored. Air Max Laser Blues and the Air Max 90 Infrareds. And I feel like these colors really just kind of work together. I remember seeing an image where one shoe was standing up, the other shoe was like this, and they were holding together by a lace, and it was just very, very poetic. It was poetry in motion. I thought, man, those are amazing. And so once I copped the 90s, a year or so later, the 90 Infrareds, the Laser Blues came out like a year or two later. I had to cop them, and so they just really work well together. You can wear them as like mismatched pairs. I've seen people still running in Air Max 90s, Infrareds, the Laser Blues, and just these blockings on the squares or on the heels just seem to work, and those eyelets in the front. So you can't have a 90s conversation without talking about the Infrareds or even the Laser Blues. Two shoes that they just work. They're fantastic. Thank you for bearing with me. We're almost here at the end. We're here at the end of it. This is the last little section of shoes that I wanted to share with you all for Air Max Day. And these are probably at least two of them with the couple of others that we've gone over in this video. Two of these have some great importance to me, some great stories behind them as well. But the one I wanted to go over first is this one. It's the Air Max Lite. It was Nike's response to the Air Max 1, right? Trying to make it a little bit lighter, less weight, more precision. And I really like this one too because I feel like it goes with a bunch. I was really big into the Phoenix Suns because Steve Nash was playing for them. So I felt like, man, these can go with my Phoenix gear, can go with my Steve Nash gear. I felt like the orange and the purple really work well together. These are quite old. I had gotten these at a Nike outlet, so no telling how long they had been sitting there, where they came from. So I'm hoping that if I put them on, they're still good. And I really kind of fell in love with Air Max Lights when I saw my friend Manny wearing them around a lot. And so he had several pairs, and when I was able to find a pair, I was like, oh look, I got some Air Max Lights. Yay. Next one up is this Air Max 1 ACG. I was able to cop these at Nice Kicks, I believe in about 2009, 2010, somewhere around there. Now, what I would have loved for them to be like the OG Royals, they're different in the sense that, you know, it has the all climate skier material with this waterproof waterproof forefoot. It has reflective material on the tongue. It has, again, the ACG logo on the back. And then they have these two different shades of blue that just really work well together. Goes with my Maverick gear, goes with my Cowboys gear, and of course that original sole that's on there. So I really held these close to heart since buying them from Nice Kicks. It was one of my first experiences going to Nice Kicks. Next one up is the Air Max 1 Quick Strike. These were, I believe, in 2010, right? Me, Matthew, Manny, we had went to the outlet in San Marcos, and we had saw these just sitting there on the shelf. We thought, man, we can't pass these up. I mean, these are OGs Quick Strikes at an outlet, and so we just picked them up immediately. Didn't even care. Picked out a size 10. Never looked back. And so still in good condition, right? They do have a lot of signs of wear. The other shoe had some bleeding of the suede onto the laces, but I just feel like why even try to change it? They're unique to me. They're important to me. I've had these for over 10 years now, and as you can see there, the sole is cracking, but I mean, nothing that a quick paint job can't fix. Air bubble is still good. You just can't go wrong with a pair of Air Max 1s. As we said in the podcast, they're universal. They can go with everything. Extremely comfortable, extremely lightweight. I have several other pairs in my closet. And then last but not least, talked about this on the podcast with Matthew. He had made these for us as being part of his groomsmen, being his groomsman for his wedding. Nothing too fancy as far as color block goes, but these are like off-whites. You got this, I can't think of the word for it, but it's just like beaten leather, worn leather, distressed leather. That's what it is, right? So it's a little bit distressed. You can see the fading kind of going on right there, but it just works with it. Nothing too fancy. Might not turn heads, but these are one of ones like we talked about in the podcast. And then on one foot it says groom, on the other foot it says man, and these were just fantastic to hold. He had blessed us with these the day of his wedding. We were all shocked. We didn't know. It was an icy sole, but I mean, I've worn these because, wear your kicks, otherwise it's going to go bad. So when he blessed us with these, we were super excited. We got to break them out that night for the wedding. He was like, hey, come on, let's put your kicks on. And they went well with the tuxedo. So what shoe would you not want that can go with pretty much everything, including a tuxedo? So we really turned heads at the wedding wearing these. And so, yeah, these are some of the most important shoes that I have, along with the other ones. And yeah, I wanted to showcase some of the important, great pay history to the Air Max line on this Air Max Day. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you go and listen to the podcast. Check out Social Rec on Instagram and Twitter. Check out the website at socialrec.blog, where I have other story posts up there. Check out the YouTube channel as well. And thank you all, and have a great Air Max Day.